Welcome, welcome. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video with your boy Jam. It's been a busy past 2 weeks for me. I've been moving places, so now I've finally settled in from BGC to the great city of Makati. What's up, Makati people? Let's make it happen. Alright, so today's video is going to be part of our adulting series, and it's something that many Filipinos and Asian cultures stress about. Moving out of your parents' house. And I'm not talking about going to university and moving to a dorm. I'm talking about when you get a full-time job, you make your own money, you move out, and you pay for your own shit. In many parts of the world, once you hit 18, you're out of the house. But in the Philippines and in many Asian countries, we have very strong family ties. It's common to find people in their 30s and 40s still living with their family. Minsan may asawa ka na, yung mga kapatid mo may mga anak pa. Pero nagsasama-sama pa din kayo sa bahay ng mga magulang nyo. And while I have nothing against that, as somebody who has been living independently for the past 3 years, I can say that your 20s is the prime time for growing into your own. So this is the perfect time to move out on your own and learn new skills. So if you're interested in moving out and becoming independent, then watch on. Because there are some things that you'll have to think about before you move out on your own. And oh, before I forget, hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you can get notified every time I post an amazing video. The first question that you should be asking yourself is, why do you want to move out? Like in anything, ask yourself why and know what are the motivations. Yung ibang reasons kasi medyo mababaw lang. Nakita mo yung mga friends mo on social media, on Facebook, TikTok, na nag-move out na and they're posting many photos and videos. Tapos, kasama ka pa sa homebodies. So, nakikita mo yung mga team puti, team kahoy, yung mga Scandinavian design. Nakakainggit talaga. And that can motivate you to move out of your house. But you should never compare yourself to others. Everyone is on their own timeline. You want to make sure that your heart and your mind is in the right place because this is a big decision and you want to make sure that you're doing it for yourself. There are many reasons for wanting to move out of your home and one of which is to get away from your family. Very common ito sa ating mga Pinoy because we come from a conservative and traditional culture. Minsan lumalabas na sobrang controlling and toxic yung parents natin. Imagine mo, nasa 20s ka na tapos may curfew ka pa din. At bawat galaw mo, may comment. From your girlfriend or boyfriend or lack of a love life, to your career, to how you spend your money, how you spend your time, and all these can be very stressful. Unfortunately, as much as our parents love us, sometimes nagiging toxic sila and that can lead to a very unhappy life. Aside from your parents, you could be living with other members of the family. And this is something that many Pinoy breadwinners comment about. Minsan may mga asawa at anak na yung mga kapatid mo, pero ikaw pa din yung pinupuntahan para sa pera. Madali ka kasing hanapin eh. Nasa bahay ka lang. If you're always there, lagi kang pupuntahan at albusuhin. As much as it hurts, sometimes we need to get away for our own good. And I'm not talking about cutting off from your family or the support completely, but you need to get away and have some control over your own life. Another reason that you may want to move out is for personal growth. And this was my own reason for moving out of the house. When you're in your parents' house, you're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you're not growing. And this is very common with many middle-class families. We call that lack of necessity, or in Filipino, walang gutom. Moving out on your own creates necessity and hunger because if you don't get things done, if you can't make the rent, you can end up on the street. When you're at home and you mess up, you have a place to fall back on. I can really relate to that because once I moved out of my parents' home, I began to realize many things about life, personal finances, and relationships. The mere fact that you need to think about how you can pay for your rent and your food, it gets your mind to think differently. Once I moved out, I began looking for opportunities on how I could improve my situation in life. I developed my first side hustles outside of the house. I was teaching Chinese and Japanese students English. I was online selling. I was doing online surveys. All these things I began thinking about once I moved out. They weren't always successful, but they did provide me with valuable lessons to help me become successful later on. In addition, I learned so many valuable life skills such as managing my personal finances, taking care of my own living space, and paying my own bills. I would never have done that if I lived at home. Once you've got your heart and your mind in the right place, then you're going to want to assess if moving out is financially viable. And for most people, yes, it is. Even if you're just starting out in your career, as long as you're not too picky with the location, you can find affordable places in Metro Manila where you can rent for as low as 7,000 pesos. But it goes beyond rent, as you'll have to think about food, utilities, laundry. There's also the cost of moving in, as some places for rent come unfurnished. What this means is, when you move into the place, it will come without things such as a bed, a ref, and even an aircon. So it only comes with a kitchen area and a bathroom. So you're going to have to provide those things when you move into the place. Now, if you watched my first ever video, you'll know that I spend around 40,000 pesos a month living in BGC. But you can significantly cut that down to less than 20,000 pesos a month if you change your rental location. Because living in BGC can be very expensive, especially for rent. So before moving out, you're going to want to get the sense of how much you're making and how much you're expected to spend. And this is different from person to person because some of us will be contributing back home, or we have medical expenses which other people do not have. So on the last thing I advise that you think about before moving out is, are you mentally and emotionally mature enough and prepared enough to leave the nest? And I'm not saying this because you're going to miss your family. What I'm saying here is that, can you take care of yourself? Are you ready to be an adult? Feeding yourself, cleaning your room. If you're sick, who's going to bring you to the hospital? Who's going to give you medicine? Because these things, when you're at home, someone's going to help you. But if you're on your own, don't clean your living space for a week. It's going to end up looking and smelling like a garbage can. When I first moved out, I didn't clean my kitchen area, and 2 weeks later, there were cockroaches. Baby cockroaches crawling everywhere, from the kitchen sink, the floor, the cabinets. My God, it was horrible. So if you're not prepared, you're going to learn these things the hard way. Are you also mature enough to keep yourself accountable? Because now you live close to the nightlife, you may be going out more and meeting new friends. And depending on who you meet, they can either change you for the better or change you for the worse. You could end up networking for business and personal growth, or you might end up partying a lot, drinking with alcohol and some party drugs. And because now you have your own privacy and space, that might mean opportunity to Netflix and chill with 1, 2, 3, or even more people. And that may end up getting you in serious trouble because you leave your home to leave your toxic family, only to find yourself hanging out with even more toxic people. So be careful out there and always remember to practice safely. And that's it. Those were the same questions I asked myself before moving out of my home. And as I reflect on the past 3 years of living independently, I can definitely say that my life has changed for the better. I've definitely grown into my own person, and I wouldn't have experienced all these opportunities had I been living at home. And hey, I probably wouldn't even have this YouTube channel had I been living at home, because I share my home with a lot of people. It can be very noisy and it's just not conducive to filming. And that's it. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below. Are you planning to move out on your own? Alright, bye-bye. See you next week. Welcome to my new crib. Here's my pet llama, some paintings, and some speaker over there. The great city of Makati. What's up, Makati people? Let's make it happen.